13, not 13, 13 years old. I listened to my sister playing that song. My sister was turned yesterday 48 years, and I'm 41. So I was 13, she was 21, 22. She was a young adult. And I was a teenager, very curious. And I heard her, I heard this song, she was playing that song and crying. And I said to myself, why is she crying? She had everything. She had a boyfriend, she was in medicine school, wonderful family, wonderful parents, wonderful room. She was the only one in the house that had a room alone. We all the boys had to share rooms. So, sharing a room with boys, what. So I said, she had everything, but she's crying. And I realized that she was crying because she had a certain way. She was always going to church, always faithful, praying rosary, part of a group, whatever. But she was still feeling something lacking in her relationship with God. And something about meaning of this relationship. And there is always a certain moment in our life as an adult that things happen. We go to the devotion of our parents, we follow things that we see that everybody does, but there is a moment in which you have to take responsibility for your own faith, for your own experience of God. And she was getting to that moment in her life. That's why the song, for those that don't understand Spanish, say, "Tell me, Lord, to whom I have to wait, with which wind, with which I have to sail. Is there a harbor when I'm gonna get?" There are questions, deep questions. And she was still a very proudly and very faithful Catholic, going to communion, going to do all that good girls go. But she was still lacking something in her experience. And maybe we can resemble in that moment of her life. We heard a lot about love, about serving the poor, about doing this, social justice, this and that. But if we don't have this sense of love in our hearts, we are doing nothing. And also St. Paul said that in Corinthians 12. Where are we going to find this love? Where is the answer? How are we going to get the answer? And the answer is not something that I go to a place and I share the answer with many people. This answer and this question is personal. Each one of us, there is a moment in our life when we start asking these questions seriously to each one of us. And we think, okay, I need to find out, I need to do something about it. Because meantime, if we are not asking the question or we are not answering the question, we do whatever we want. And sometimes what we want is just the first thing that happened. We follow just instinct. Or just follow what another person told me. Oh yes, come here, let's do this, and you go. And at the end you get involved in things that you don't want to get involved in. God created us with two things. Love, capacity for loving, and freedom. And we are free. We don't come to this world to be slaves. And we heard a lot of things that Adam told us about Jesus last time, that he was fully himself, and like whatever. But one thing that Jesus is, and was something that is really praised by French philosophers, is that Jesus was, is, and always will be free. Free from any power. And even in the cross, nailed in the cross, he was still free. And for this freedom we are called. And in this freedom we find love and we seek love. And even sometimes could be painful, we decide freely to be in love and to keep loving. And And I really wanted to feel that love. And I want that my sister also to realize that. She got in another role. She married, now she's in Italy, living happily with her husband and 2 kids, exercising her medicine over there. I took another way. I really wanted to know about it. And well, I went to many groups, many different groups. I don't want to name it because I don't want to say that they are worse or less or whatever. No, everybody has their own experience. And each one of these groups taught me something in my spiritual life and a part of my spiritual journey. But I to many youth groups, pilgrimage, to go to the Virgin. There's a place that the Virgin appeared over there, and everybody saw the Virgin. Everybody is there, look at the pink, and with a look in the eyes, and have earrings or whatever. And you see, good. Wow. Like I don't care. This is part of everybody of their own way. I really want to know, to find a way in which I can grow in love. And to discern and to realize from the many images of God that are in society and inside the church too, many images of God and Jesus, to find out which one is the one that is calling me, and which one is the real one. And I realized in my journey that Ignatius of Loyola had the same struggle that I was having. That he also, in his time, there were many images of God, many devotions, many things around the church, many traditions, many ways to worship God, that at the end were just worshiping themselves or certain culture. And he found in the gospel the real image of God, that is Jesus Christ. The real Word of God, that is Jesus Christ. He had this experience, and that's why he wanted to communicate, and he wanted to invite everyone in the world to meet Jesus and to grow in knowledge of Jesus. But he said, Adam,
conocimiento interno.
Conocimiento interno. Because only if we know someone, we can love it. We cannot love what we don't know. Oh, I love her so much. She is the best woman in the world. Have you know how she is when she get out very early in the morning? No, she's always make up. You don't know. Especially Venezuelan woman. Oh my God. It's strict. It's like, what? You're the same? Yes. Okay. And if you know that person as it is, now you love. Now, if you know, you can love. You cannot love what you don't know. So, okay. So what does it mean? That we have to read all the theology books about theology that have been written about Jesus Christ to know Him? No. Ignatius was very clear about it. There is a lot of things that were written already when Ignatius started his journey. And he also studied a lot. He went to Paris and studied, but the main source of this knowledge of Jesus, in order to know his ways, to know how the dynamic of love that God has in the humanity, and also are having right now in each one of you, is through the gospel, is through the scriptures. And that's why he developed what we're going to do right now, in 15 minutes, the Ignatian contemplation. The Ignatian contemplation is the way in which Ignatius wants each one of us to have a closer encounter with Jesus. and to know Him. Know His dynamics, His ways. And for the Ignatian contemplation, what we need is not a set of truth or things. Bless you. What we need is two things. Two things that everybody has. First, imagination. Our own imagination. You see, own imagination. But imagination is what I have when I am not praying. I start praying the rosary and I start wondering, oh, what happened? It was so awkward today. Oh, yes. And, whatever. And then I see a car that is coming up. Who is this person? So imagination is bad. No. For Ignatius, imagination is the tool that we have. Our own experiences, our own story, our own memories, our own way to see and figure out things. We're going to use it as a tool for meeting Christ. And the second thing that we need is intention. To want to meet Christ. Sometimes we don't want to. Sometimes we don't want to. How many people said to me, oh, Father, I tried, but I can't. Do you really want? Do you really want to meet Christ? Love never leave us as He find us. As He find us. Love always changes. Always. And sometimes we are very comfortable as we are right now. Very comfortable. Oh yes, I want Jesus like a associate, like a partner in my own enterprise, in my own project of life. And I want Him, of course. He's the creator of heaven and earth. I need Him. In this is not desire of knowing anything. Do you really want to meet Jesus? Do you really want to meet Him? Know Him? So that seeing Him, touching Him, you start loving Him more and more. And then all the things that Jacob said about serving or whatever are not coming just because there is a rule over there, are coming because of your heart that is enlightened, is inflamed by this encounter with the one that loves you from the very beginning and will never stop loving you. Are you really wanted are you there to love Jesus, to meet Jesus? Ignatius wants that for the people. So that's why he developed these rules, this set of, it's just a method. A method. And you have I invite you to take the number 2, the praying with the heart. Because you will use this for the next, in 13 minutes, you're going to start doing this. And you will have an hour. And you say, an hour? Yes, an hour. An hour for the one that loves you. For the very beginning. An hour with Jesus. When you set yourself, using your imagination, in following this method. And there's 3 steps for the praying with the heart. The first one is to prepare. If you want to encounter somebody that you love, you're going to meet this person anywhere in the middle of the sun or where it's hot. No. If you're going to invite somebody that you love to have a chat with that person, you will find the best place possible in which you can see her eyes or her skin and listen carefully to her or to him. So you need first to prepare the place when you're going to have this encounter of love. I want to know Jesus. I want to know Him. I want to know His dynamic of love. I want to meet with Jesus. So first is to prepare the space. Because we're going to pray not only with our mind, we're going to pray with our whole body. So the posture is important. Kneeling in the chapel or sit down on even in the floor. Lay down. But with our all but